When all this is brought together, it'll mean a greater variety of points of interest for you to discover and new mission areas spawned once you accept the job, all dynamically placed and dressed as needed.
So, like, we got rivers now. You can see there's a stream. There's trees by the stream. Maybe there's fish. No fish. That would be added content. And there's also this thing. This is a great up. This is the thing we're after. Don't forget though, later in a subsequent patch there'll be another thing. Yeah, that's the thing I'm excited about. That thing. Wicked thing. Definitely stay tuned for that thing. Yeah. But yeah, 3.17's here. It comes with desync fixes, which is what we're all actually after. It only took, I don't know, 3 years, majorly, to fix that. It is for when. Yeah, rivers. Rivers, man. Rivers. I like rivers. They're pretty cool. So, all joking aside, 3.17 is actually a good update. It's not game-changing like some people are claiming, and it's definitely not going to bring back people that are waiting for something special. 3.17 is an additional update patch, although it's named a brand new number, 3.17 rather than 16.2, etc. It brings in improvements to the fundamental underlining that 3.16 brought in ages ago, with improved desync changes. We don't know exactly what those changes were, we just know they're back-end changes, and those back-end changes to desync have definitely tightened up response times when it comes to PvP flying and player-to-player interactions. In smaller groups, this is more noticeable compared to large servers where there are 50 plus players and desync is still a thing. But in smaller groups, in Star Marine or Arena Commander, this should improve gameplay twofold, especially if you're the sort of player like me that takes part in those extracurricular activities outside of the main PU. Now, in terms of override additions, as teased already, we have a lake. Don't really know what to say. I don't have any footage that I've captured. It's a lake, guys. If you don't know what a lake looks like, I suggest you go outside. But otherwise, yeah, it's a nice looking lake. Nothing to do there. What you can do in this patch, which comes in with, I guess, what you might find by a lake or anywhere else in the verse really, is the ability to sell things. Things that you find, harvestables, or weapons that you might collect off of the bodies you definitely didn't just kill. Selling things in shops will be a huge part of what brings 3.17 that extra little spice. That probably is what gives it that 3.17 acronym. It's probably the reason why it is a whole new patch rather than just an addition. It changes the way that people might play, and it's not a game changer per se, but it's definitely a fundamental changer to the experience that is looting and, well, basic mission doing, really. No longer will that person that you definitely didn't slaughter and definitely didn't intend to kill when you were saying hello, their stuff will have some value. I don't know what that value is. It's not a lot, probably. This is Star Citizen after all, and guns are like, I don't know, sweets you buy at a candy store. But you'll be making something back. Now, speaking of making something, refueling. That is actually a big one. I think refueling is probably the largest thing to come in 3.17. It's a whole new gameplay element, and probably something that you, or maybe someone you know, has been waiting for. The Starfarer, a classic accident to have ever been published, in the state that it was anyway, now definitely more flyable, 100%, that's guaranteed, has more working features. The Starfarer has its refueling capabilities actually brought to it. You can now refill individual pockets of the Starfarer with different types of fuel elements, and those fuel elements can then be used and mixed to refuel ships. Ships like the Gladius, or ships like the Gladiator, or ships that you would otherwise maybe do a mission in, like the Hull A, another brand new ship for 3.17 that might, if they're, the pilot's adventurous enough, need refueling out in this tiny, weeny-whiny little verse that we have. The 3.17 refueling update definitely is interesting, but I don't think the PU is big enough to really warrant it right now. Unless, of course, the whole reason for making criminal lives just that little bit more difficult by removing any ability apart from refueling the Grim Hex, maybe this is what their intention is. Maybe to go and get a pirate Starfarer now to refuel you. That would be pretty cool, I guess. A bit like Ninetales Refuel Gang. I might start that myself. But yeah, You've got refueling, you've got the ability to sell fuel. Refueling 3.17, Starfare is the only ship that can do it, and it will be fantastic. I haven't had a go with it myself. Unfortunately, since the buyback changes, I haven't been able to be as Willy Wonka and as loose with the ships that I have in my hangar. I have to actually think now about my purchases. But over on twitch.tv/Steweymyster, definitely not a plug, you should be able to catch me checking out refueling, maybe even checking out the Hull A as well. I did actually get a sneak peek of the Hull A, and I must say, genuinely, actually really surprised. And it is quite spectacular. If you've ever flown a Misk Reliant, one of my favorite ships, you'll understand why the Misk A is so fantastic. The whole series has this very Reliant styling to it on the interior. It's very compact and everything is in its place. Very clean, very tidy. Compare that to the Misk Freelancer that has chairs everywhere and a ladder that you can get stuck on. The Hull A and the Reliant series share a fantastic use of space, almost like the Ursa rover. It is 100% purpose. So every single thing that is in a place is there for a reason. I wish it had maybe a bigger field of view and the cute little landing legs of the original concept, but I think anyone who owns a Hull A will actually be extremely pleased. Now, we're going to move on to something a little bit more interesting. We're talking about the overall fundamental changes to weapon balance. This is more of a me thing. Now, if you're interested in FPS weapons, I'm the guy for Star Citizen and FPS weapons 100%. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here and now because I'm going to make a whole new video about FPS weapons specifically, but there are some changes. Some good, definitely, and some bad. The major hit points for the positives are that every gun now has a sort of feeling to it. They definitely have a more real, weighty, everyone's saying Tarkov, but I don't really see it, feeling. I want to say more Halo. You know, guns have a certain sway about them depending on their weight. However, all of this is unfortunately artificial. It looks like it's there, it looks like it'll have an impact, but I promise you, my streams and a few friends of mine who are seriously into the FPS combat here in Star Citizen have had a good look at the weapons, and when it comes to the full video, there's definitely some stuff in there which might surprise you. And to not spoil too much, I'll say that the strengths of some certain guns still exist. They haven't been taken away, even though you might think they have. And some other guns that were really strong are now completely useless or have had their identity completely stripped. More on this again in a later video. I think 3.17 is a really good example of what can be achieved by just letting the game designers and game developers work on something. When we have a big initial number patch change like 3.16, 3.14, 3 whatever, it always comes with something beautiful, whether that be Horizon or whether that be the new UI changes to your entire flight system. This is more soft. It's big, but without being upfront about it. And this really shows what can be done if you just let people get on with the job. And that's kind of why it's a shame it's taken so long. I think what's difficult for 2022 and what will be difficult going forward is actually having more of these background changes. They are definitely needed, and in the long run probably provide you with better gameplay than a new location like Pyro, but they aren't as exciting. And I understand why SIG have to push out really exciting new imagery and concepts just to try and keep the back-end development going, because people will complain. But when it comes to game development, I think we should all just sit back a little bit, give them some time to actually release Theaters of War, Pyro, and some other things, and do it in a state that isn't rushed. I am fed up of getting new cool things and having them be completely useless because they're just there to be splashy and don't actually provide anything. This desync change is so fundamentally welcomed. It's so fundamentally important to the game that I would welcome another 6 months of no content just for an even better improvement in terms of player experience like that. Maybe you're not with me on that, maybe I'm speaking to myself here, but I genuinely do just want to have a more playable game, not more interesting things to look at. Yeah? Does that make sense? God, I've been rambling quite a bit. Look, don't forget, later on in 3.17 point whatever, we're going to have even more exciting new things. A straight-to-flyable ship, probably for Invictus Week, and we're also going to get the Scorpion, which is a ship I still have in my hangar, and I'm very much excited to try out Will it come out completely overpowered and then get nerfed again a month later? We'll find out. It might be the brand new Iron. I guess the only way to know is by tuning in to twitch.tv/Steweymyster and checking it out when it comes out live. And I have a chance to fly it on Wave 1 PTU, because that's right, boys, I get access to that sort of stuff, even though I think Sig might hate me currently. Anyway, look, I have rambled enough and I've got no idea how much of this is actually going to be in the video, so I will bid you adieu and thank you all very much for tuning in to this quick little update on 3.17. And, it's also a welcome back to the channel, because I know I've been gone for a while. Star Citizen was hard to play, I think, over Christmas and the first couple of months of the year, but I am roaring and ready to go. I got a new setup going, I'm more chilled out, I've got more options now, and ideally, the game modes I enjoy the most will be more playable than ever. So, until I see you maybe live or next time, ciao for now. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit up my referral code, guys. If you are new to the game or you want to share it around, the referral code really helps me and you guys here actually by providing me with better content to be able to use on stream and share with you guys. So maybe give it a consideration if you're going to get the game. And definitely join the Discord as well. Links are always down below. I can answer your questions, especially if you have them about the game. And there's loads of people there that you might enjoy playing with. Anyway, again, see you next time.